Travis Wayne Goodsell. Who is this masked man on the screen here? Who is in my bed? Growing up in the church, we're all about the latter days. And it's kind of scary, but then the church says, oh, is that too scary for you? I can stop now. No, Grandpa, don't keep reading. I'm okay. Are you sure? Because you look a little scared. No, Grandpa, I'm fine. Because we can continue later. No, I'm fine. And so it caught my attention. Because I'm thinking, is it going to be in my day when I'm older and an adult, unable to get a home, unable to have a life or a wife? They're synonymous. And who knew I was a prophet at a young age? And my goodness, I have lost a lot of mass. Those of you who remember me before the eviction, I was not this thin. I was not Bert-shaped. I was more Ernie-shaped. And they're just killing me off. I'm looking like Bruce Willis now. Yeah, it's like, oh. Poor Bruce Willis. Make sure to buy all of his videos that are coming straight to DVD. Gotta help him with his medical bills. Yippee-ki-yay. And the latter days was a fascination study topic for me. I did it on my mission, reading through the Bible, highlighting it with the purple highlighter. That was the purple highlighter color designation, latter day scriptures. And so because the church wouldn't explain the specifics, it was up to us as members to fill in the gaps and make the story of what's going to happen in the latter days. And so Hollywood always does it better, shooting down Jesus when he comes in Rapture-palooza. You killed my son. And then the father gets electrocuted. And then the Simpsons. Hilarious. But the one thing we never counted on was the role the church would play. We always assumed that the church would remain here in Salt Lake City and the war would be elsewhere. I always wondered, well, if the war's in Jerusalem, what will America be doing? Will we be fighting to help Israel? I'm sure we would. Things like that, but if we were helping Israel, the world would not win. But again, many issues involved that are far beyond a teenage boy and a young man's fantasies to comprehend for a sci-fi channel religious series. But having done the research now, having gone into the education beyond, because I wanted to know, I found out my answers. I always do. Growing up, people tell me that I'm not allowed to know things, that's for higher spiritual-minded people. I have to go through the temple, whatever excuse they were giving to not say, I don't know. But now I know. And nobody believes me. Because we're in it. It's the latter days. Finally. Is it what you thought it would be? No, because you don't believe it is. It didn't fit your paradigm, and so it's therefore not true. Nope, not the latter days. This isn't supposed to happen. And so, Joseph Smith, in the Joseph Smith papers, the mythology has been put to rest, where the most of you think that he said the Constitution will hang by a thread. No, he never said that. 19 July 1840b. Constitution will be on the brink of ruin. And but Brigham Young's, anyway, I'm sidetracked. The wagging of the dog's tail thing comes from there too. So he knows, and yet, he knew. Let me read to you verse 51 in section 101. It's the parable Joseph Smith gives. So he's speaking to Mormons. The enemy came by night, broke down the hedge. Is that the Family Proclamation and the For Strength of the Youth pamphlet? He destroyed the hedge laws. And the servants of the nobleman. Remember, your manual says that's you, not the prophets, because they would never do this. That's why the manual was written as it was. They were protecting the prophets. Arose and were affrighted and fled. That's why they were protecting the prophets. They have to make that you. And so then who are the 12 olive trees? Well, they don't even explain those. It's not the 12 tribes of Israel, which is the membership of the church. And the enemy destroyed their works and broke down the olive trees. Mormonism will be destroyed. That's what he's saying here in the parable. Because if you believe in Jesus, which after watching my channel for so long, why? We're Jewish. We're not Jesus. So let's see if I can recreate what got interrupted. Joseph Smith is speaking a parable about Mormons, servants of the prophets. Church is going to be destroyed. And that was never on my mind, never on any Mormon's mind, because Brigham Young said that this church would never be destroyed, and priesthood would last forever, as he destroyed Joseph's priesthood, took it away from the face of the earth. But he intends to destroy this church with the successive prophets. Also, and so what you're witnessing here is what the prophets set up for the Mormons, so that they flee and the Mormons get destroyed. No more church. And what would Mormons do in that situation? You know, obviously we know that there will be those rising up claiming to be the true successors. This is like the FLDS church. That the Bateman guy got busted for whatever the hell he was thinking in Colorado. And dear God.
Okay, thanks so much.
And so when I was shall we try this again? So I've noticed Nelson taking over. First thing he does in that priesthood meeting is cancel the high priest group. it's closed, it's shut down, it ends. The high priests get moved into the Elder's Quorum. And devout, faithful Mormons are clueless about what he just did. They don't know about the Celestial Kingdom, the rules for getting into the Celestial Kingdom. And I'm kind of horrified. But then he distracts us all by saying he's betrayed our country and given money to Russia. So then over the course of years, he would give up on a lot of things. Sunday school is every other week. He cancels an hour of church. Cancels a lot of the extracurricular stuff. Pulls us directly out of the Boy Scouts immediately, rather than waiting for the duration that they said they would. And releases the Handbook of Instructions, which was coveted. Nobody was allowed to see it except the leaders. And here he was, just, here you go. It's for everybody to read. You know, he sued the Tanners to take down the one sheet that they had posted. Didn't sue the guy who posted the whole thing. But, yeah, it was coveted. Each leader is told when they receive it that they're not to share it with anybody. It's theirs and theirs alone, their responsibility. And changes the temple. And it's kind of tricky because it appears at the beginning that he's giving more freedom to women. Gives Eve a longer speaking role. And no, it's a trap. You take away the women's veil, you diminish them. You fell for the trap that Islam had altered in its original meaning. And added in polygamy for the law of chastity. And I've noticed as he raises up an idol god to Mormons, and Mormons are clueless. Oh, okay, yeah, an idol. Yeah, we worship him now? Okay, great. That's what he looks like. Oh, no, it's the idol that does the video for the Book of Mormon series. That's Jesus now. And they're just going full throttle on literal Joseph Smith, literal Book of Mormon. Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. And Mormons end up missing the Exodus in 2020. Mormons miss saving America. They have another opportunity for this election, but it's a little too late on this one. And so there's no Zion, none of this stuff.
You guys have 5 minutes. I'm getting really irritated about 25 times today.
And
let's get down to brass tacks.
And so this part about fleeing, I've also pointed out to you guys the stock market, that they tend to sell so that they can launder the money into an offshore bank account. And it's got over trillions of dollars. Yeah, it fell a little bit today again. Not too much. But yeah, I mean, they literally are giving away the church. Everything about it that used to be is gone. It's not the same church I grew up in. That should concern Mormons. They are refusing to let the crimes and the abuses get held accountable. They just, Brad Wilcox, BYU, oh, we didn't see anything. No racism here. We're perfectly fine. Yeah, wasn't there that TikTok group that goes around exposing Brigham Young students as being racist, sexist, bigoted? It's got millions of views, far more popular than me. But, we're looking at the enemy about to destroy this place. And the church is purposely setting it up as a criminal organization, being more blatant in their criminality, being more blatant saying we want polygamy back, being more blatant saying we don't like LGBTQ, we don't like blacks, we don't like women. Just pushing and pushing and pushing. And eventually Mormons are going to snap beyond those who've already snapped. And the majority of the church is left, just refused to be active anymore. Down to about 3 million who are active. And it's always those Mormons who are in the active wards here in Utah that go, our church is always full every Sunday. I don't know what you're talking about. And then go to South America. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So they're purposely trashing this church, transferring as much money as they can, and then they're going to take the money and run and flee and leave the Mormons defenseless to be destroyed by the enemy for being as abusive as they have been. For the Mormon murders, for the Mormon rapes, for the Mormon sex crimes, for the thefts, for the hatred. And in so doing, because I'm not getting the word out, thanks to the white supremacy of YouTube, people are now going to associate the evil, corruption, criminality of the church that's been busted, finally, with Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon, rather than Brigham Young. Rather than the current prophets. And thus they will have succeeded in destroying the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith once and for all. Banned for life, for existence. To be erased from history. Because they're white supremacists. That's what they do to Jews. And then when the heat dies down, because America is destroyed, they come back, establish their kingdom of Deseret with Lucifer, the light bearer. Whether they say Lucifer the light bearer, I don't know. But a whole new religion. And we don't have much time left. 8 April 2024. Last day of the latter days. And so if nothing happens this year, definitely at the end of next year. I've already told you about it. 22nd September, the bicentennial year. Day that shall burn as an oven. So, then the Book of Mormon talks about it as well, that there will be an election fraud, an attempt to coup the government, collapse of the government, natural disasters, wreak havoc, and a forced exodus for those who did not go on the first exodus in 2020. And there's not enough people who know where to go. Even though I did the video yesterday. Again, party at his house. Whether he knows it or not. But, yeah. This is something I never anticipated, never expected. And people are just going with the flow. Nobody's being proactive. Everybody's being reactive. We almost had an economic collapse today. Had Biden not stepped in to get the rail workers back to work, yeah, you wouldn't have had Christmas. Wouldn't have had food, fuel. Wouldn't have had a fire sale. But that's what Nelson's doing. He's getting rid of everything in the church. He's just gutting it. I told you he was going to get rid of the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith.